Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, and we've got a little update on our podcast. But before we jump into that, did you know today, Christy, and I should welcome to the show, Christy Piddick from PackYourPixies.com, our co-host. How are you doing tonight?
I am well. How are you?
Did you know that the marathon weekend opened up for reservations today?
I did not know that, although I saw some discussion on Twitter on the subject. So I guess I could have made that leap.
And as a past marathon runner, I thought you'd be all over, kind of following Run Disney and everything like that. But here's the thing that I thought was pretty cool or kind of interesting. So as a DVC member, annual pass member, and for all of you out there who are living at Golden Oak...
For all those listeners that are living there,
yes,
we can only dream. Listeners, can you please invite us over for dinner, please?
Exactly. I'm counting on you, Christy, to buy a house in Golden Oak. But for those of you who live in Golden Oak as well, you can register about a week early for the marathon weekend, and for each one of the Run Disney races. So my wife and I just we registered for the half marathon last weekend, and today was the opening day for the general public. And surprise, surprise, the 5K sold out in an hour, and the 10K sold out in 2 hours. Wow. And I was confused about how it opened today because I swore that you had already bought your ticket or whatever. So I was a little confused, but, I was busy, so I didn't look into it more. Yeah, and that's why I threw that out there, that if you're a DVC member, annual pass, and a couple other, and the Golden Oak crowd can definitely. Why do those millionaires get advanced priority? Come on. Yeah. I'm kind of wondering how many actually show up for a Run Disney event. I don't know. I don't know anybody who lives there. There's probably a lot of people, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So, but anyways, I digress. But that was pretty amazing. The 5K and the 10K sold out. My brother's partner's sister is running with us. She's running the 5K, and she was lucky enough to snag one of those entries. But that's pretty amazing. So if you're a 5K or 10K runner, at least for marathon weekend, boy, you got to jump on it early. But the half and the full marathon is still open for anybody out there who wants to join us. And Christy, that means you. Do you want to join us this year? Nope. Well, I'm going to keep working on you. I want to give a shout out to Joe from the Disney Deciphered podcast. And as the Joe flies, he is going to join us down there for the half marathon. Did he purchase a bib? He did. He actually signed up for the half marathon, and so I was kind of tweeting back and forth with him, and so we're going to hopefully we will connect up with him down there, and we'll try and get some fun audio of us experiencing the half marathon to just motivate you to join us in 2020. Well, maybe I'll come down there for the weekend, but not run. You could be one of the crowd supporters holding up a sign. Yeah, I could be on the cheer squad. When is the marathon? Okay, and you're going to ask me that. I think it's the 13th. I think the 12th is the half marathon and the 13th is the full marathon. It'd probably be the other way around. Well, it'd be the 12th because the 12th is Sunday. Okay, so it's the Sunday. 11th. It's the 11th. So it was the 13th this year in 2019. So 2020. And see, I already had it all wrong. So I gotta con you into going 2021 because 2020 is what we signed up for. But okay, so the 11th is the half marathon, which is Saturday, and the 12th is the full marathon. So anybody who's interested, they can still jump on there and do that. And I do believe the Goofy Challenge and the Dopey Challenge is still available as well. Yeah, run every day for days on end. That sounds fantastic. I want to do one year. They have, I think it was Disneyland that had the Tinkerbell run, and you could do the 10K and the half, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I would do that one year if they brought that back. So the rest of them, like the Wine and Dine, and the Star Wars Princess and the Star Wars race that just happened, they have those challenges as well. So you can do that in those. They just don't have it. They've got the Goofy, which is the half and the full marathon weekend. That's insane. Yeah, I know. Could you even? That is so. I mean, good for all those people. Exactly. Good for them. I might actually be there that week, though, at some point, because that's the week my husband travels for work. Usually. We don't know the dates yet. And I might take my kid again. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. So maybe Blake and I will be hanging. Well, I mean, our crowd is slowly growing. as far as it goes. So Joe will be down there. My wife and I'll be down there. My brother's partner and his sister and husband will be down there. So join the crowd. We always at least go out for dinner on Sunday night after that marathon. And it's always a good time for a few adult beverages and a good dinner afterwards.
Yeah, my mom did say, let me know if you're going. Maybe I'll go. So maybe I'll have her come, and then I can actually go out.
All right. Well, I feel a plan brewing.
Yeah,
so we'll see where it goes.
We'll see. We'll see if that's the first DCL podcast meetup.
Yeah. So, well, it'll be the second. We had an unofficial one before that, but.
Well, no, but for like the public.
Oh, for the public. Yeah, we could maybe do that too if anybody else happens
Someday.
to be down there. Yes, that is definitely in the plans at some point. Or it's like on the wish list. How's that?
I think it's a great idea. This is the longest tangent on the planet.
It is. Well, all right. So today's show, we're going to talk. It's going to be just another quick show. We got 2 shows out this week. This is the second one. And we're going to do a little blurb with my 2 kids about their experiences in the kids club on the fantasy here this past weekend. I had some good feedback last time they were on, kind of getting a kid's perspective, and one listener chimed in and said that his kids really listened to it beforehand before they went, and it really kind of helped them out. So that's going to be the meat of the show today. But before we jump into that, we wanted to let you know that we have opened up our Patreon page. We have decided to jump into Patreon as well. For those of you who would like to partner with us and support our show, we sure would appreciate it. We've developed 3 different tiers that you can participate in. And to find that, you can go over to patreon.com/DCL podcast, and all the information's there. And Christy, I think you had a little bit about what to expect, I guess, as far as going forward with the show that you get weekly with us.
Yeah, just want to make sure that all of our listeners know we are not going to change any of our regular content that you are used to. Steve's trip reports and my trip reports for cruises will still be on this regular podcast feed wherever you listen. We will still share, whether you like it or not, we will share our trip reports. But the Facebook group that we will be starting, or we have started, for our Patreon subscribers, we'll just have some additional content. So just maybe us just having a random conversation, or perhaps answering some questions just from members of that group, or just random content and random camaraderie where the people in the group can actually talk to each other and ask each other questions. So basically, we will have a Facebook group for 2 tiers of our Patreon levels, but this feed for podcast listeners will remain the same.
Definitely. And it will feature all of our listeners, all of you who want to come on and share your trip reports. We love doing that. We love hearing your experiences out on the different cruises. And also, I want to give a shout out for Adventures by Disney. We've got an Adventures by Disney show coming out as well from Australia. I'm really excited. Christy and I are really excited to bring that out to you. So look for that here in the next week or so. We'll get that one out to you. But I think the first one that we're going to have for our Patreon supporters is just to give an example for those of you who want to support it, is your trip down to Walt Disney World here at the end of this month.
Yes. So in May, you and I will cover a trip report of my Walt Disney World trip in the Facebook page.
So for those of you who would like to partner up with us and support the show, if we've helped you plan, your vacation here in the past, or if you just enjoy listening to our show and reminiscing about the vacations that you've taken and want to be part of supporting the show, you can go over to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find all the information there. And Christy and I really appreciate all of you who take the time to go over there, take a look at it. And if it's in your means to do it and you want to do it, we would really appreciate it if you support the show.
Yes. And if not, we'll still like you.
Yeah, exactly. So the show will go on. So with that being said,
yes, it will.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about tonight, Christy, before we jump into listening to Alex and Andrew talk about the kids' clubs on our latest trip on the fantasy?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for all of you for listening, and thanks for those of you who take the time to go over to the Patreon page. And let's jump into our show tonight, all about the kids' clubs on the fantasy with Alex and Andrew. Thanks, everybody. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast. And one of the things that we try and strive for is to find an expert when we are talking about different things on the ship. And we just got back from our Disney cruise on the Disney Fantasy, and we are no longer on the Fantasy, are we, Alex? I want to introduce my youngest son. He is 8, going on 9. And welcome to the show, Alex.
Hi.
So we are not on the fantasy right now, are we?
No, we are not.
No, we are not. You're missing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it pretty fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than your bedroom.
Yeah, we are in the bedroom right now recording, but I thought it'd be fun to bring Alex and Andrew back on and kind of give their opinions of their cruise on the fantasy, and also, more importantly, just kind of what they thought about the kids clubs on board. So, Alex, what did you think of the Disney Fantasy? This is the first time we've been on the bigger ships, the Dream Class ships. What did you think about it when you first got on?
I thought it was huge. The lobby is a lot bigger, and also on every ship there's a different statue, and on this one it's Minnie Mouse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Minnie Mouse. So
yeah.
Pretty cool. Much bigger lobby than the Wonder and the Magic, huh? So kind of thinking back on it before we talk about the kids clubs, what were your favorite parts of the ship?
I personally liked the midship of Deck 11. That's where the ice cream machine is based, and I probably spent half my cruise there.
You spent half the time at the ice cream machine.
Probably.
Yeah, how many ice creams do you think you ate?
32.
32 flavors, or is it 30? What's Baskin Robbins? 32 flavors, I think, or something like that?
No, it's 31.
31 flavors, okay. Well, okay, let's talk about the kids clubs. Now, how old are you again?
I am 8, but I'm going to be 9 in 4 days.
Exactly, your birthday's coming up. And so you got to spend time in the Oceaneers Lab and the Oceaneers Club. What were your thoughts going in there? We went in there the very first day as they had the open house. What were your thoughts of the club and the lab?
I thought it was, one, bigger, and also it was a lot better, because in the club on the fantasy, they have like a simulator where you can fly Star Wars ships, like, well, not the Millennium Falcon like on the Dream, but like X-Wings and A-Wings and stuff like that.
Yeah, you also got to fly like the snow speeders and attack the AT-ATs and everything like that, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
What did you think of the lab?
I thought it was pretty cool. The activities that they have going on is better than the stuff they have there all around, because like they have a drawing place, a craft corner, a place where 2 places where you can watch movies, a place where you can play on iPads, and then a place where you can just hang out and play some stuff on your phone or talk to people.
So what were some of your favorite activities that you got to do this time?
I personally liked flying the ships, and also you can drive the ship in the lab, but not in the club. And so one of my favorite activities was the Ultimate Challenge.
And what was that about?
So, like, there were 2 teams, and you were going through, like, certain obstacle courses. It's kind of like a team obstacle course.
When the kids showed up for that activity, then they just split you up in teams then?
Yeah.
A little bit different than the Edge, where they have an ongoing all cruise long. They split everybody up into different teams. So this just during the activity, they split you up into different teams. Cool. How are the counselors? Did you have fun with the counselors?
Yeah, the counselors were cool. One even gave me a backpack.
What? How did you get a backpack?
She was from China. Her name was Yoko. And so there was a kid in my class that just moved here from Shanghai. And she said she was around there. And so we started talking and like about what parts of Shanghai he was from and other stuff like that. And yeah.
So you get a backpack out of it,
yeah.
Huh? Oh, that's kind of cool.
And also, speaking of which, you can also win prizes with some of the games.
So what did you win this time?
I won a backpack and a hat and a yo-yo.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I saw a lot of the kids with those hats from the Oceaneers Lab, Oceaneers Club on board, and I don't think I've seen those on. They might be doing that on the Magic and the Wonder too, but it was cool to see them. I think a lot of the kids thought they were pretty cool, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Castaway Cay Day, there was like tons of kids with them on there. So was there anything new that you participated in this time that you never did before? So the Ultimate Challenge was one. Was there anything else?
There was this thing called Pathfinders, and like it was like a grid of hula hoops that were different colors, and you were trying to figure out what the pattern of hula hoops you had to go through to get to the end. And once you got to the end, then you could make up the pattern yourself. And it just kept on going like that. And it was fun.
That's kind of cool. Also, you got to meet BB-8. Was that kind of fun?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, they had some Rise of the Resistance kind of activities in there where you got to meet BB-8 and some other different things like that.
Yeah, there's also a scavenger hunt there where like trying to get droid parts.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that one. Was that pretty fun too?
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking about it, what advice would you give kids your age as far as if this is their first time in the club, what kind of advice would you give them?
If you're going to the club on the fantasy, I would recommend checking out the Star Wars area first because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do there. Like there's iPads, there's like dashboards with a whole bunch of switches and buttons and knobs and stuff like that. And there's even this like place that projects like the stuff from the movies, and it's sort of like a hologram of it. And so like there's BB-8, R2-D2, AT-AT walkers, X-Wing fighters, and all kinds of stuff like that. And also there is the flight simulator that you can do there.
Cool. So overall, 2 thumbs up on the lab and the club on the fantasy?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we also did the Midship Detective Agency. What was your favorite one? There's 3 different ones. We won't go through all of them, but what was your favorite one?
I personally liked the Muppet one. So there's a 101 Dalmatians detective thing. There's a Muppets one and one about paintings.
Yeah, kind of trying to find the lost paintings. And that one's with Mickey Mouse and Goofy in them. So any other fun experiences that you had? What did you think about some of the game shows like The Feud and some of the other things that we got to go and see? Trivia?
Yeah, I liked The Feud. I didn't really like So You're Thinking of Your Family because that's when my mom elbowed me in the eye, and I have a black eye now.
That was a little bit of an accident, a little bit excitement there. You guys kind of ran into each other, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, super fun time on the fantasy.
Yeah.
Want to go back?
Yes.
Okay, we will definitely have to try and figure out a time to get back on board the fantasy. Our next cruise is going to be on the Dream, so we'll finally get on all 4 ships. Hey, I've got a couple questions for you before we finish up. Thanks so much for coming on, Alex, but here's a couple for you. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate and vanilla swirled.
Okay. Aqua Duck or Aqua Dunk?
I'm kind of a little bit of both. I like the duck because of how long it is and it goes all around the ship, and it kind of gives you like a little bit of a taste of what the ship looks like because it's sort of like an aerial view of it.
What about the dunk?
But I like the dunk because at the beginning it's surprising and you go over the edge of the ship because it says 3, 2, 1, blast off, and then it pauses and then you go. So I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. Then you just go, and it's a straight drop and you're in a capsule with a trap door.
Cool. Okay, favorite food on board?
Steak.
Favorite restaurant? Do you remember the different restaurants we went to? What was your favorite one?
I liked the Royal Court.
The Royal Court. Cool. And a big question here, classic ship, so the Magic of the Wonder or Dream class ship? The Fantasy or the Dream? Which one are you going on?
I like the Fantasy.
Okay.
Because I like the Fantasy mostly because it's bigger. There's more room for you to do stuff. There's more activities that aren't just in the lab or the club or the edge and the vibe. So like you kind of have free roam of the whole ship, and it feels like it's big, but it's not that big. And like if you do the 7-day cruise like we did, you really get to know the ship.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, you know what? One more thing. We ziplined for the very first time. So any advice for kids that might be a little nervous about ziplining? What did you think about that?
It was awesome.
What was great about it?
I liked the last zipline that you go on because you go from one side, because you're on a huge tower and you have to jump off, and then you go to one side, but then you zipline backwards to the other side, and then you keep on doing that until one of the instructors stop you.
Yeah, so don't be afraid. Go out there and do it, huh?
Yeah, like when I first started, I was kind of scared because it was super high. But then when I started doing it, I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. Because you know that you are strapped in really tightly. And one thing I did that not a lot of other people did was I went on a tandem zip line with someone else. So that's when there's two people, but you're using the same zip line, like, trolley.
Yeah, you have one trolley and the two of you were hooked up together. It was another boy that was about the same age as you, and you guys went down two of the lines together, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that wasn't, for anybody who's interested, that was in Tortola that we did. It was tree...
No. It was in
St. Thomas. Yeah, it was in St. Thomas. It was Extreme Tree Lemon Zip Line. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Super fun, great people, great view, great instructors and everything like that. So, hey, Alex, thanks again for coming back on. Appreciate your time coming on the DCL podcast, and we will talk to you probably after we get off our cruise in October on the Dream. Hey, guys, one last thing. Alex just thought about this as we... closed up, but he wanted to talk about each one of the platforms on the zip line. Tell him about it.
On each platform of the zip line, it tells you something different that's famous in the Caribbean. Like, the first two platforms are about Blackbeard, the pirate. And then it's about, like, the birds and the plants, and one is about an iguana. And it tells you what noise freezes an iguana.
Yeah, so there you go, parents. Take your kids ziplining. It's not just a extreme sport or anything like that. It's also educational.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming out, Alex, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. So we just got done talking to your brother, and now we're going to head a little bit older and get a little older perspective. Andrew, we just got back from our cruise on the Fantasy 2 weeks ago, and before we start off talking about the Edge and the Kids Club, what did you think of the Fantasy?
I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely, like, a whole bunch of bigger areas, making it, like the kids' clubs were bigger and all that stuff. Just more stuff to do.
So overall, you loved the Fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay, what were your favorite parts of the ship? What were your favorite things to do?
I like the Edge, and then just sort of running around and messing around in the ship.
What about the Aqueduct?
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Okay, how many times did you ride it?
I think 5, maybe 6.
Okay. All right, so we are going to get your perspective on the Edge. And before we start off on that, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Okay, so this is the third time we've cruised that you've had the chance to go up the Edge. The other 2 times were on the Magic. Before we talk about the Edge, did you have a chance to go down to the Oceaneers Club or Lab this time?
No, not really.
Okay, so you guys didn't take any... when they did the takeover, you guys never made it down to that?
Well, we did, but we didn't really do anything there.
Okay, any thoughts on those 2 clubs?
Well, they're definitely a ton bigger than the ones on the Magic and the Wonder.
Well, let's talk about the Edge. What did you think of the Edge on the Fantasy?
I thought it was a lot more fun because there's actually a couple things to do in it.
Like what?
Like, there was, like, Foursquare, and there was, like, a whole bunch of... There's Goggleball and all that stuff. There was Foosball that you could play. There's just a bunch of stuff that you can do.
So what I hear you saying, it's a lot bigger. Tell everybody where the Edge is on the Fantasy.
It's up in the front funnel.
Yeah, so on the Magic and the Wonder, the Edge actually is where the old arcade used to be, so it's a much smaller space. So on the Fantasy and the Dream, it's a lot bigger, so that gives you guys opportunities to do, like you said, Foursquare, Goggleball, and things like that. So kind of talk about how was it this time, and one of the biggest things that we recommend, and I think you do as well, is getting up there the first night. How did that work out for you this time?
It was definitely good to, like, go meet some kids, but then someone was there that I saw on one of my last cruises.
Yeah, so you had kind of a built-in friend to start with, but then you guys picked up a whole group of kids too. Was that kind of from the first night?
Yeah.
And what do they do that first night as far as, kind of getting you comfortable?
They kind of do some, like, icebreakers so that we get to know each other, and then we do, like, some games and mainly, like, activities all together.
Did they have heroes and villains on this one?
Yes, they did.
Okay, tell everybody what that is.
So pretty much throughout the entire cruise, they'll do, like, little competitions. So when you first go up there, you'll become a hero or a villain. And then during the cruise, there'll be, like, anything can be heroes and villains. It can be a Foursquare competition, it can be trivia, it can be pretty much whatever. And then, so throughout, you get points from what you do. And then after the cruise is over, whoever has the most points ends up winning.
And did they win anything?
I think they won like a Disney hat or something.
Okay.
Or like Edge glasses or something.
Yeah, you got some of those last time, didn't you? Yeah. So what were some of the activities that you enjoyed this time during the week with your friends from the Edge?
I enjoyed like some of the like running around the ship and going to do like the scavenger hunts. Those were pretty fun.
And how were the counselors up there?
They were nice and fun.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was something new that you participated in this week or this time on the ship that you didn't before? Was there anything new as far as the Edge stuff goes?
I don't think so.
Okay. Hey, they gave away some pretty cool stuff. Did you get anything this time?
Yes, I got a water bottle, a pin.
What was the pin?
The pin was just, well, they pretty much had like some extras in the shop that it was like the last couple. So they brought them up and we were able to just choose one that we wanted.
Okay.
It was a Mickey Mouse pin.
If somebody's going on a cruise for the first time in your age group and the Edge goes from 11 to 14, what advice would you give them?
Definitely go up there the first night and try and make some friends because it definitely makes the rest of the cruise a whole lot more fun.
Yeah, your posse was kind of running around wrecking havoc on the cruise ship again, weren't you?
Not really.
How many movies did you guys see this time?
2, maybe 1.
What'd you go see? Do you remember?
We went to go see Ralph Breaks the Internet and I forget what the other one was.
That's okay. Hey, so what other fun experiences did you get to do on the ship, whether it was with us or with your friends? What were some of the other fun things that you enjoyed? Like trivia or meet your family or things like that?
Well, I liked the ventriloquist that they had. And then some of the Edge activities were pretty fun. And then just sort of running around the ship and messing around was pretty fun.
Yeah, okay. So we'll end this up here in just a second. You looking forward to the next cruise? What if you're going on either a Magic class ship or a Dream class ship? Which one are you going on?
Magic.
What? The Magic?
Or no, Dream.
Dream. Okay, and why again?
Definitely because everything is just like I feel bigger and better.
So we are going on a Dream class ship. It's only a 3-day, but then we got 2 more that are booked that are on the Magic and the Wonder. So it's going to be a little bit before we spend that much time again, but maybe sometime soon. Okay, let's end it with a couple fun things. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Aqua Duck or Aqua Dunk?
Aqua Duck.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no way. I'm going to go with the Dunk myself, personally. The Duck is cool because it's longer.
Yeah.
But I love the thrill of the
Dunk, I feel like pretty much they open up the trap door and you're at the bottom.
Well, that is true. It's a quick
and then
ride.
It's freezing cold and you wait in a 5-minute line.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yes, it is. They have the wind coming out of the funnel, like all the air coming out of it, and it's freezing cold.
Oh, man. Okay. And let's go with favorite restaurant. What's your favorite restaurant?
On the big ship or the smaller ship?
Just overall, and then I got another question after that.
So on the smaller ships, I like Animator's Palette the most. But probably on the Fantasy, my favorite is probably, what's the main one called? Like
Royal Court?
Yeah.
Or the Enchanted Gardens?
Royal Court.
Royal Court. Okay. Well, cool. And you kind of answered the question, but Animator's Palette on the Magic or on the Fantasy?
Animator's Palette definitely on the Magic, just because it's like they actually sort of like have a show and it's sort of cool, versus on the Fantasy where like what's his name comes
Crush.
Yeah, Crush comes and talks to you, but I mean it's not really that much.
Yeah, he didn't really talk to our table. We just watched him talk to other people, didn't he? Yeah. So anyways, okay, well, cool. Any other advice before we get out here today for kids traveling on Disney Cruise Line?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, thanks for coming back, Andrew. Thanks for giving your perspective for everybody, and we'll talk to you soon after one of our next trips or cruises.
Okay, see you later.
Bye. Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Once again, I really want to thank Andrew and Alex for coming on and sharing their perspective on the Disney Fantasy, their time on the ship, and especially their time and what they were involved with at the kids' clubs. And as I was kind of reflecting back on it, I've always tended to seem to think that the Oceaneers Lab is where the older kids generally hang out, and that definitely proved true on the Magic and the Wonder. That's where a lot of the electronic stuff that our son is interested in, and that's also where they would have Super Sloppy Science and things like that. But in the Fantasy, they've got a whole separate section kind of in between the clubs where they do the Super Sloppy Science and some of the kind of group activities that they have. And Alex actually spent more time, I think, in the club this time, but that's where the Star Wars-based activities are. They've got the whole kind of Star Wars section where you can fly the speeders and the X-Wings and whatnot, and that was just kind of a really cool thing to see. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I took a bunch of pictures of the Oceaneers Club, so go on over to our Facebook page at DCL Podcast, and you'll find some pictures there. I'll get some pictures also for Christy as well to upload onto our Instagram page. I didn't get a chance to... I went up to the Edge with Andrew, but I didn't get a chance to take too many pictures. The Edge is actually a lot bigger than it's a lot bigger on the Fantasy and the Dream than it is on the Magic and Wonder, and it's up in that forward funnel. So as Andrew was talking about, it seems like there's a lot more activities that they can do up there, and he really enjoyed that. If you'd like to know more about the kids clubs, you can go back to our DCL 101 episode all about the kids clubs, and that's episode 57. So just kind of go back there and take a look if you want to hear kind of more an in-depth talk or discussion that we had on the kids clubs on an earlier episode. So this coming weekend, Passover, Easter, if you are celebrating either one of those two holidays, we want to wish you a special weekend. And if you're not celebrating either Passover or Easter, you're just celebrating having time off from work, I hope you enjoy the weekend for that as well. If you would like to get a hold of Christy and I, you can always reach us over at DCL Podcast on Facebook. Of course, you can reach me, Steve, on DCL Podcast on Twitter, and my new email address, which is steve@dclpodcast.com. Of course, you can always find Christy over at packyourpixiedust.com, PackYourPixieDust on Twitter, and Pack Your Pixie Dust on Facebook. So between now and our next show, if you're heading out on your next vacation, all of us here at the DCL Podcast would like to wish you fair winds and safe travels as you head out on your next adventure. Once again, thanks for coming back and taking a listen, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast.